Welcome to the FX Options Weekly Outlook, a weekly podcast series hosted by Jason Ayres, a top instructor, trader, and founder of OptionSource.net. Join Jason as he discusses the latest trends in the Forex market with a look ahead on the US dollar versus the major currencies using the most commonly used technical indicators.
Well, hi there and welcome to the ISC FX Options Weekly Outlook for December 6, 2010. As always, this is Jason Ayres of OptionSource.net. Let's take a look at the weekly chart of the U.S. dollar index. This is a great way to gain perspective as to how the U.S. dollar has been trading against a basket of currencies. Well, as you can see here, the U.S. dollar lost considerable ground against most currencies last week, slipping down to test the upper range of our 78-79 focal zone. Now, while we may see a further pullback, support at 79 is likely to yield a retest of this 80-81 focal zone. This may be a short-term setback in the bigger picture. However, we do need to see the weekly charts close above 80 to lend credibility to any upside continuation. Now, a quick look at our daily chart reflects the multi-day sell-off down to that 79 level that we've been looking at, and we should see a bounce towards 80. However, failure to break beyond 80 opens the window for a move all the way down to that 78 box. Next up, the CDD, the U.S. versus the Canadian dollar. Well, the CDD failed to break higher, dropping back to test this 100 level over a two-day period. Now, we expect a bounce this week. However, the CDD will have to overcome considerable resistance at 101.5, 102 in order for us to be comfortable and confident of a possible continuation higher for the U.S. dollar. Let's take a look at the YUK, the U.S. versus the Japanese yen. Well, the YUK gave up 3 weeks' worth of gains in essentially one day, dropping a full 2 points down to close on the lows on Friday at 82.5. Now, a retracement of last week's move should bring the pair back into test resistance at 83.5, 84. However, failure to rally above 83 and then essentially a break below 82.5 is likely to slip lower towards this 81.5, 82 focal zone. Let's take a look at the EUI, the U.S. versus the Euro. Well, the U.S. dollar lost considerable ground against the Euro, dropping down to test support at 74.5. Now, if the selling is contained within the 74, 74.5 focal zone, we are likely to see a retest of resistance up at 77. However, failure to hold support opens the window for a drop all the way down towards 72. Let's take a look at the BPX, the U.S. versus the British pound. Well, the BPX pulled back to test support at 63.5, but appears to be respecting an uptrend that has been in place for quite some time. Support at 63, 63.5 is likely to yield a retest of resistance up in that 64, 64.5 box. Let's take a look at the AUX, the U.S. versus the Australian dollar. Well, the AUX lost a full 4 points last week, dropping all the way down to our 100-101 focal zone. Now, we should see a bounce up to test this 102, 102.5 focal zone. However, until we see a break beyond 102.5, we are cautious of a continuation lower. Now let's take a look at a few of our key points. First of all, the U.S. dollar index pulled back as expected, giving up significant ground. 79 should hold as support. We'll be looking for a bounce on the U.S. dollar index this week. The CDD dropped significantly to retesting support at 100. 101.5, 102 is likely to act as significant resistance level to any attempted move higher. The YUK traded as high as 84.5 last week before completely reversing back to 82.5 over a two-day period. We should see some upside retracement here. However, failure to hold support at 82.5 is likely to yield another full-point move to the downside. The EUI hit an upside target at 77, but quickly reversed. We should see a bounce at 74, 74.5. This opens the window for a retest of 77. However, failure to hold support at 74 opens the window for a drop as low as the 72, 73 box. The BPX pushed higher early in the week, but retraced back down to 63.5 on Friday. We could see a slide as low as 63. However, this level should act as support. The AUX lost considerable ground at the end of the week, slipping back down to test the 100-101 focal zone. We should see a bounce here after such a significant drop. And this has been your ISC FX Options Weekly Outlook for December 6, 2010. As always, I'm Jason Ayres of OptionSource.net. Thanks for joining me here this week. We'll see you here next week.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For trading ideas, exchange rates, webinars, news, and commentary, visit www.fxoptions.com. Become an OptionSource.net member. Visit www.optionsource.net. ISE FX options can be easily traded through all options-enabled brokerage accounts. These exchange-listed securities are cash-settled in U.S. dollars and have a European-style exercise.